discipline definitely does help you with is it helps you get things done. And when you get things done, when you actually do things, you have more success. If you have more success, and sometimes a big part of success is just not being fucking lazy and just doing it. That's like 90% of it is just showing up. Get there and start working. Like, you're not gonna feel perfect every day. Through discipline, I get things done. One of the big problems is sitting down and doing the work. And you gotta, and Pressfield talks about that in the most concise and beautiful way. And he labels it like an enemy. He calls it resistance. You know, and that you have to sit down, you have to overcome resistance, and that the pro goes to work. And it doesn't matter if you're sick, it doesn't matter if you have kids, it doesn't matter what, you're a pro and you go to work.
Dude, epic.
That was cool.
All I gotta say is that was epic. I absolutely you definitely inspired me. And just like what Travis says, Vinny is a freaking tank. We should just end the show there. I'm all pumped. I'm ready to go.
Right? Let's just go hit a live workout, bro. I'm down. Let's do it.
Dude, I appreciate you sending me those that I could put those together. So yeah,
that was really cool.
So how you doing, Amanda? Hey, everyone in the chat. I appreciate you joining us today, getting a little bit more about Vinny. Again, we had a lot of one-on-one personal side of who Vinny is in the previous interview. So this is going to be more of what Vinny does, if that makes sense. So what's up, Dave? Appreciate you coming.
What's going on, peeps?
So just to get this out of the way, if you use Vinny P 15, you'll receive 25% off the website. That's everything excluding apparel and accessories. But everything else, you're good to go to use that. And so, yeah, enjoy it and make sure we support Vinny there. So, first of all, why don't you just to recap, why don't you tell us a little about what you do, who you are, family life, all that kind of stuff?
Right on. You know, what I do is pretty simple. I pick stuff up and I put it down. No, really. You know, I'm 100% about family, man. You know, I've got a wife. We're going on 17 years, 3 kids. Awesome. I mean, you know, really, I can't ask for much more out of life, man. And she's cool with everything I do. So, I mean, what more can you really ask for, you know? Outside of that, I'm just like everybody else, man. I'm working stiff, trying to get my grind on in the gym, man.
Sorry, I'm just everyone's just pumped up. Who's Cindy? Do you know Cindy Torres?
I do. So if you noticed in one of those videos, there was a beast doing a shoulder press with the sick back.
I did remember that.
That was her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone, if you do have a question, I will start it. I did ask questions on for anyone who had questions for me to ask Vinny on IG. I have those all down. We'll ask at the end of the show. And also, if you guys have any questions, just put a Q next to it, and I'll star it for later when there's an appropriate time to do that for him. I just want to say, for those who haven't tried Copper John's Love Mint Daily Wash, appreciate you, man.
He rizzle.
Yeah. Hey, with the small man with a big heart, Vinny P.
I'm working on it, though. I'm working on it.
And then also, if everyone goes in and you can go into the chat and you can see exactly where you can find Vinny P on YouTube and as well as IG. So first of all, why don't you, for those who don't know, what is powerlifting and why would they want to become a powerlifter?
Well, powerlifting is definitely something that's going to test you a little bit differently than just your average gym goer, right? Your average guy goes in the gym, wants to get big, or, you know, maybe just wants to be healthy. Powerlifting is a little bit different. Powerlifting is a strength sport. So, you know, you have your three, the big three, as they call them, you know, bench, squat, and then, of course, the king of lifts, the deadlift.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really, you know, powerlifting, you know, there's 9 million variations of powerlifting. You've got, you know, 1-ply, 2-ply, all this other, 90 million different types. But in general, literally a sport to see how strong you are with 3 basic lifts. I mean,
Yep.
that's really all
Just
it's
different
about.
ways how to do it.
Yep. How crazy are you? You know, are you crazy enough to step under a bar with 1,000 pounds and try and squat to the floor?
Are you crazy to use 1,500 pounds and walk 50 yards? And that's what crushed my knee, and I had to get a replacement for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you know a lot, being someone who was a power lifter and you did strongman. So, and that's a lot more my speed is the strongman thing. But two of the three big lifts, anyways, I'm real big in, and that's the squat and the deadlift. So I'm not much of a bench guy, but I used to be. You know, before the whole
shoulder
thing. No. So that the one thing that after my surgery they told me not to lift heavy at all, but one of the biggest things was a heavy bench because it can break the wires that are wrapped around my sternum.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that conversation.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember it now. So how long have you been in powerlifting, or how long have you been in strongman?
Not very long. I used to be more in the bodybuilding side of things when I started. Mid-20s is when I started kind of lifting weights and stuff for the first time. And I really did it just to try and get in shape. You know, I grew up pretty much a heavy set individual. I was a fat kid. And after my first daughter was born, you know, I was pushing 300 pounds, but not this kind of 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And my brother convinced me to go to the gym, and I got that bug, man. But it was always bodybuilding. You know, I wanted to see how shredded I could get or how big I could get. Never really about the strength side of things. And after my heart surgery, it was maybe not the brightest thing, but you know, when someone tells me I can't do something, then it clicks that thing in my head like I'm going to do it. So I would say probably 2.5 maybe years at most.
Dang, man.
In the strength.
So have you always been strong? Like, you know, there's those guys that are just built like a truck and they could just throw crap. You know, have you always been strong?
I've always been a strong guy. 16 years old, I started working full-time in an automotive shop. Mm-hmm. And if there was engine blocks that needed to go in a 4-foot dumpster, mind you, I'm 4'2". I was the guy that put them in the dumpster, you know. Yeah, I've always been a strong guy.
So you did shot put in high school?
Right?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading these comments. So tell us a little about your childhood and you growing up, you know, up to, you talked about 16, you started working in an automotive shop. Tell us a little about, you know, growing up and becoming Vinny P.
You know what? Honestly, the people, the guy that most of you people see, is definitely not my childhood. You know, I grew up northeast of Philly. Very different person than I am now. Just, I guess, product of environment type of situations, you know. But I can say that a lot of the stuff that I did, a lot of the crazy, not such good person type stuff that I did back in the day, I think it definitely led me to be the person that I am today, as far as like want to do as much as I can if I can. You know, somebody needs some help or this, that, and the third, then, you know, I'm always down to try and help out any way I can, whether it's literally just someone to talk to or monetarily or just whatever, man. You know, blasting somebody's stuff so they can blow up, or really just anything, you know. And I think a lot of that does stem from the fact that I wasn't that person growing up, you know. So
what's like the dumbest thing you ever did growing up? And I'll tell you why.
Man. Whew, that's a tough one.
I remember I am doing something stupid in high school, and I remember my dad saying, you know, we all do something stupid. He's like, when there was some he grew up in Ogden. There's no rough place in Ogden, there's just not, but there was a guy around there that had a fire extinguisher, and he filled it up with acid, and he would randomly spray people.
Oh Lord.
Right. And this was in the 70s, and they thought it'd be funny to fill up with water the fire extinguisher, and they'd go spray people pretending it was him. He got in a lot of trouble. I'm like, well, duh. So he's like, everyone does stupid things. No. It's learning from him so that you don't do them again. Yeah. And you can become a better person.
Yeah, I mean, I've got more than my fair share of stupid things. Everything from, you know, like attempted robbery to, you know, Grand Theft Auto and stuff. So,
Wow,
What
good
did
for
I
you.
do?
No, yeah, that's what I mean though, is we all grow up and we all learn from our mistakes.
For
Hopefully we
sure.
learn from our mistakes, and
Absolutely.
from there we become a better person. And obviously you're a wonderful person. You've done tons of charity work, you help your family, you work full-time, you do everything you can, you're a great dad, been married 17 years. If you wouldn't be married 17 years if you weren't a good husband and a good
I
father.
don't know.
So.
She might just be a little crazy.
Well, she's the perfect crazy for you. So Brett wants to know if you're a drummer.
I am. Among many other things musically. I think probably one of the only things I would tell you I couldn't play would be a harp. And that's just
Really?
I've turned wrenches for 20 some years.
So why don't we ever see you playing?
You know, funny enough, for probably a good 7 years, I played many shows a week, in a band, a rock band.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting in front of a drum set right now. But yeah, I mean, I've always, I think from the time I was 7, I heard my first Slayer album, and I knew I was going to play the drums. And around 15, they were too loud, so I started playing guitar and bass, and I played trumpet and saxophone in grade school and stuff. Some of the cheaper stuff to get my hands on and whatnot. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, I've played pretty much everything.
So self-taught or
Yeah,
take
yeah.
classes and everything?
Oh yeah, no, I'm self-taught. I couldn't tell you a single note on an instrument. I mean, I can listen to a song and play it, but to tell you what I'm playing, I have no idea.
Well, we might have to get you to play a song. What's your favorite song to play on your guitar?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm really into blues.
Oh wow.
I like playing blues. Yeah. Oddly enough, I grew up like playing death metal, but for some reason, playing guitar, I love playing the blues.
And you also mature. Everything just,
Yeah.
your body starts to like other things. So I get that. Dude,
Yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
sure.
We might have to, would you be willing to play if someone, we asked?
You know.
You're like, no, I don't want to.
I mean, nothing like trying to put a guy on the spot, right?
I know, right? I didn't know you played any of that. That's really cool. So he wants to know how many calories a day you eat.
Probably not near what you would think. Right now, it's actually pretty low. Well, I say it's low, but right now I'm around 2,800 to 3,000.
Yeah, that's not that much.
No, it's really not.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
and then
I'm more comfortable like in the five range, maybe 6 range, but it's one of them things. So for the first time, I'm really working with a coach, and he doesn't really want, and not that it's more of a preference, really, based on just health factors. He doesn't want me to be like over 250 on the top end. So
smart. So what does he have you eat, and how do you like enjoying working with a coach and all that fun stuff? I'm actually really interested.
No, he doesn't do my nutrition. Just kind of monitors the calorie intake and so on,
Okay.
and my weight and my measurements, just to make sure things are moving the way he wants to. And then he'll kind of chime in like, okay, let's back the calories off, or try and bump our protein level up and bring our carbs down, stuff like that. But it's not really like a set diet. He more has my more does my workout routine, and just monitors the nutrition side.
So how do you notice your workouts change since you started working with a coach?
Definitely more consistent. I've never really been a very consistent individual. I'll get super into it for a month, maybe even 2 months, and then something will happen at work, or I'll just have a day where I'm just kind of like, and I have a crappy workout or something, and it throws me off for a week or two. But having to have that accountability, it's definitely pushed me a lot more to stay consistent. And I've definitely noticed it just in my power in the deadlift, the thickness of my upper back, stuff like that, for sure.
All right. I was just thinking, because your beard is like epic right now. I haven't seen it this long. When you're doing a shoulder press, what do you do with the beard so it doesn't pull?
You know what? So if I'm doing a shoulder press with a barbell, I have no issues. It's the log where I have an issue, and so far there's nothing I can figure out that doesn't rip it out.
You just can't tuck it in your shirt or anything.
You know, I thought about it, but when you come up, you're literally, you know, you got to pull your head back. So there's just no way to do it.
Because that's your beard. How long is that? About what? 9 inches?
Around 9 or so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot longer than last time we talked about.
Yeah,
so,
I'm normally I try to keep it around 7 in that range because that's where the thickness really stays good. After that, it just kind of starts thinning out. And I mean, I'm not one for the whole styling thing and everything, but as far as that goes, I still don't want it all ragged and stuff at the bottom.
Well, you could fool me, man. It looks really good. So,
Hi.
So Vinny P harps on me about consistency all the time because it's truly the hardest thing for everyone.
Yep, it really is. It really is. I mean,
what's your coach say about rest days?
You know what? He's actually really good about stuff like that. So, for example, I've always been the type who will program in something like a deload week or something. And for him, he's more the type of go with your body. So if we're, you know, whatever it is, whether it's 6 weeks in or 3 months in, and I start feeling a little tight in the hamstrings or something like that, he'll say, you know, back if you feel it, you need to back it off, then back it off. And I like that because I am a big believer in listening to your body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and naturally, as somebody who's training someone, you want to make sure that they stay as safe as possible. You don't want to be the reason somebody gets injured.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where I kind of like programming in a deload week. But at the same time, I say that I don't really do it. I don't. I'll watch for like fatigue and stuff like that. And if it seems like you know, something's needed to back off or whatever, I just won't load the weight up that heavy, you know. And it's not one of those things where if I'm one-on-one with someone, you know, they don't even know what they're lifting most of the time until I tell them, like, oh, this is what you just lifted, you know. I think it keeps people out of their head.
I think that's awesome because there was a point in time when you know, I was benching 495 and even just had the 295 or the two and a halves on both sides. Like I could do a 495 twice, no problem. Third time was a struggle. I'd have to have someone to come. I'm like, okay, I should be able to do 500. 500 mentally, nothing. I couldn't do it. And it really is all mental.
I have the same thing. The first time I ever went over 500 on a bench, I had no idea what I was lifting.
Yeah. See, you live and learn. That's the thing is now that I'm going back right now, I tore my labrum in my shoulder. And so I wasn't able to bench. And now tomorrow, my wife and I'm like, should we start? So we're going to start doing some more little heavy lifting and stuff. So I'm actually really excited and nervous all at the same time because that freaking hurt. I'd be carrying my groceries in as I popped out. I'd be carrying my groceries in and my shoulder would just pop out.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So
I'm curious though. I want to see a healthy Tyson get back in to the gym and see where you go. You know, because you're a big dude, and we've talked before about your lifts and stuff, and you don't give yourself enough credit. You're a monster, dude. I want to see that.
It's been a while. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to get back to. Well, no, I will. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, be honest. You know you're
gonna. But then it takes all your time. It's all you think about. It's all you do. It's fun.
It is.
Luckily, my wife's into it now. So. So E says I squatted 375. Then COVID came. I haven't been back to the gym since.
Dang.
Yeah, that's cool though. 375 E is no small feat. Good job, man.
Heck yeah.
So Dave goes, in all seriousness, Vinny P is the most motivating, down-to-earth guy I've ever met. And then
Dave was the dude, man. Dave was the dude.
It's tough when you have kids to raise. So what do you say about that, Vinny?
You know what? It is, man.
Yeah, you have kids.
I do. I have 3 of them, and they are. One is about to be a teenager, and the other one is going to be 3 at the end of the year. So, you know, I've got a wide range, so I definitely understand that. It comes down to.
Did Dan really just say Vinny MFP?
The legend is in the house, everybody.
That's awesome.
It just comes down to managing your time. It's really easy to say, oh, it's difficult when you have kids, or it's difficult when you work a lot, or just a million other things you can throw out there. Here's the thing: how many people say that, and then at the end of the night they're watching their favorite show, or whatever the case is. Now you can make the same case and say, oh well, yeah, but it's working out, so I'm going to be more tired, or this, that, whatever it is. But it's all about what you want to do and where your dedication level's at. You don't necessarily have to go out and train for an hour and a half. You can go out and get a really solid workout in 45 minutes if you work the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of people get lost, is they don't really think about what they do with their time. Nobody thinks about the fact that show they just watched took an hour of their time. And yeah, it was nice to sit down at the end of your day dealing with kids and work and, maybe the wife or husband, with whoever it is. And you just want to relax and hang out. But I know for me, especially when I'm pulling a big lift, there's nothing like that feeling.
No, I'll be getting chills as I'm lifting. My wife laughs at me.
Yeah.
She's like, "You like it that much?" And I'm sitting here doing it. I'm like, I'll just have all these chills down my arm and legs, and you can see the goosebumps and stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's that addicting.
And then when you hit it, that rush, that feeling that comes over you, like I just did that.
Yeah,
like there's just nothing like that.
Yeah, especially you go deep, you go below parallel. On squat or something, it's like your PR, you lift, and you're like, dude, that's epic. I wouldn't have been able to do that a couple years ago. Like my heavy deadlift, when I hit that the first time, I'm like, it's fun. It's fun.
Definitely.
Hey, absolutely. So Cindy goes, he is an amazing trainer. He motivates, inspires, and pushes me, all within the safe realm.
This lady right here is a monster. Pulling 405 off the box. I mean,
what?
For reps.
How old is she?
50. Monster.
Cindy, Cindy, we gotta talk. That's awesome. So rumor is a shirt size with the 4X before Vinny P put it on, and it was a hoodie. So how far away are Tyson and Vinny from each other? So you're in Texas.
I am. I'm in Southeast Texas. We're probably good 15, 16 hours away, if not a little bit more. I'm 10 hours to the east, or to the west border of Texas.
So he goes, when you get all questioning yourself, Vinny tells you to shut up, and you know what to do. It's true.
We just had that conversation. You know what's up.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes. You get exhausted. you hit that wall, and you're like, is it all worth it? And I think that's in everyday life. I think it's just not just working out; it's everything. And so it's nice to have someone have your back like that and tell you how it is.
For sure.
I know. Dan. Yesterday, Dan is working. Dan is doing a show for us here on his Commands Corner. And yesterday he was just like, hey, Tyson, what about this? Hey, this. And he was showing me issues of both our website and stuff. I'm like, holy crap. How did I not know that before? And it's just like, it's always nice to have someone to have your back and push you and get you better.
No, for sure. So. Dan's a legend, man.
Yeah, and he cares. So name some of the. So we're talking about you working out and all that kind of stuff. What are some of your feats of strength? Like, let's know your PRs, because I'm interested.
Okay, well, this is going to be a tough one too, because I don't really know some of them, but
yeah, I've forgotten some of mine too.
So for my log, 300, which I'm a little disappointed about, because I feel like I had a little bit more, but that's where I tore the shoulder.
Jeez, sorry, man.
Hopefully I'll be getting that fixed end of the year. Deadlift from the floor, I honestly couldn't tell you. I know my heaviest from the floor is definitely years ago, but I will pass that before this year is up. Before I get this shoulder, I will stand up with over 700.
Dude, that's awesome.
Off the box around 685. Yeah, for before the surgery. After, I want to push to 1,000. Is it possible? I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
dude. If you get 1,000, you're professional. That's up here.
So here's the thing. At my body weight, or even if I were to climb another 30 pounds, I'm 251 right now. I can go all the way to around 285. And if I can hit around a 420 log and a little over 900 on the dead, pound for pound, I'll be one of the strongest lifters on the planet.
That's cool, man.
That's kind of the goal. That's where my head's at.
So when you get that strong, when you get that popular, just remember me and remember Austin Chat.
Oh yeah, come on, man.
When you're Brian Shaw-esque and you're competing with all those big guys, let us know and just don't forget us.
Let me tell you something. Brian Shaw is. You want to talk about fangirling, man? When I met that guy, I was like, I didn't even know what to say.
Right?
I did that. He is like the coolest dude I think I've ever met in my life.
I don't think you ever did. You send me a picture of him? I can't remember of you and him.
I don't know.
I sent you a picture of me and him.
Yeah. See, you're a whole lot closer. I look like a little kid.
Dude, that guy's a freaking animal.
He is a monster.
My mom's like, you look like a little. It's like how excited I was. Like we're talking about fangirl. I was like,
yeah.
You can just see how excited you were, and he towers over you. And I'm like, and I was 6'3", 290 at the time when I met him, and I looked like a baby.
He is a big man, very big man. 6'8", a little over 400 pounds. He's a big dude.
Did you ever see the interview that they did with Phil Heath and Brian Shaw next to each other?
I didn't. I saw the trailer for the video they were doing. They're talking about basketball because both of them were basketball players, and they were actually messing around with the ball a little bit. But that's all I saw. I never actually saw the video.
Dude, when they were sitting at a dinner table, like side by side with everything, and you see everything that Brian Shaw eats, and then he's eating his chicken and broccoli and stuff. It was hilarious. It's like night and day difference. No, Dan, we didn't. Why don't we talk about it? Did you watch the boxing match? I saw the.
I did.
You did.
I did.
See,
I did. You know what? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Little disappointed. I'm not. I'm a fan of both. I do like Eddie a little bit more. He's a little cocky, kind of the villain, so to speak. Yeah. And I like that. But I also appreciate the fact that he has the deadlift world record. In my opinion, Thor's lift didn't count. In the gym, just no. But for all the smack that he talked, all of the boxing smack that he talked, not just like I want to beat you up, but the fact that he talked so much game about having that technique and the stamina and so on and so forth, I was really disappointed in his technique. Like he went out there and looked like an amateur fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when he knocked down the mountain, I felt like it was more of a push than a hit.
It was.
I was like, this is kind of, and then all he did is just kept jabbing. I'm like, dude, let's go after each other. Let's make it fun. But
I was hoping it was going to be a brawl.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I mean, Thor, Thor just had the better technique. He did. He outboxed him.
Well, he has longer arms too, like significantly longer arms.
Their reach was listed as the same.
Didn't look like it.
And I think that's why Eddie's such a good deadlifter, is because he got really long arms. If you think about the leverage of that, I mean, you can't beat really long arms. Now, if he was like 6 inches shorter, it'd probably be even more perfect. But
yeah, see, Thor cracked him on the one. Oh yeah, there was one where he got knocked down to the ground. But I saw the post interview with him, and he just gave Thor all the credit in the world, and he's hopefully
I was
there's
really
a
happy
rematch.
with how respectful they were.
Yeah, I'm like, if there's a rematch, I'm like, hopefully it's a little bit more exciting than that, because it was good. But yeah. So have you ever done the yoke walk?
I have. I've never walked at anything insane. I mostly just pick around 800. I haven't tried to run. See,
that's smart.
Yeah. I think if I was going to no, let me back that up, because if I can get this fixed and get really comfortable, I will definitely compete. at least a few times in some of the local maybe shows. Then I will get a little bit more weight on my back and start running with it to get comfortable with it and make sure that I can, win the show. But outside of that, nah, I'm not. It's because that's a really risky move, and I'm all right with taking the certain risks, but that one right there, I mean, it just takes one wrong move. That's it. Yeah,
Yep, that's how I destroyed my knee.
Yep.
That's why I have one fake knee now.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll go heavy, but I'm not going to go nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it grounded my knee to a pulp. Like it was just all just a bunch of liquid. That's basically what it was. And then it got to the point where I couldn't stand up, and if I stood up, I had to sit on a bench or something right next to it that was elevated a little bit more, so I could straighten it and then let that sit for a couple minutes. Then I could walk with the cane. It was bad.
Yeah, that's rough, man. No, I'll keep it around 500 or so. Like I said, picks around 8.
Yeah, good for you. What about outlet stones? Do you throw those around?
I have, but nothing heavy. I have molds right now that go closer to 300. I just got to pour them. The one I have in my gym is around 200, a little under. And then I mostly just mess with bags. I've got bags up to 400.
Dude, that's so cool though. So how do you think you would stack up against, let's say you hit your 1,000-pound, deadlift at the end of this year, you're close to, at least you hit your 700 like you want to. Say you hit that, how do you think you would stack up against the other strongmen, like professionals?
Professionals?
And would you start competing?
I think once I get the shoulder fixed, for sure, I will definitely do so. If I were to exceed that, though, stacking up against those guys, I mean, you got to remember these guys are starting their competitions over 700 pounds.
So crazy.
So let's take the Arnold Classic for example. They come out on an elephant bar. The elephant bar deadlift being one of the first deals they do in the competition. They have 3 lifts, just like you would in a powerlifting meet. You pick your weights. The weight can never go down. So they lift in order of the weight that they've selected, and they don't know each other's weights. So let's say you walk up to the judge, you say, my opening lift's going to be 775. I walk up to the judge and say, my opening lift's going to be 810, and there's somebody in between us. That will be the order. So the bar consistently gets heavier, never goes down. But again, you got to remember these guys are starting typically 700 and above. So at 700, no, I don't think I can stack up to any of those guys. If I get where I want to, where I think I'm physically capable of going, 100%, I would give it a shot.
Dude, that'd be so cool, man. I'd sponsor you. And remember that, because I really will. I think that's amazing. So do you think that the powerlifting, the strongman is going in the right direction, like the profession?
I do. It's definitely gaining ground. Brian Shaw being one of those people, Eddie Hall. If you really think about before then, like when we were younger, you saw it. It was around, but it wasn't real popular. You didn't really hear about it. Of course, we didn't have like the YouTube and all that other stuff either. But you have guys like Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall, and they really make a business out of it. And they, of course, they keep it, real strongman driven, but again, they make a business out of it. They really push the sport. And I think it's really, really getting a lot more popular, even in the powerlifting aspect of things, because you have things like these monster deadlifters, and when you see something like that, you want to do it. What's one of the best accessories for the deadlift? The squat, So I think it's definitely going in the right direction for sure.
So, Vinny, is the 1 a.m. not tattooed because that's the flexing arm?
You know it.
That's actually funny. So, who do you look up to? Is it Brian Shaw in the world of strongman?
He would definitely be my number one. But there are quite a few people. who they're those guys, you know. When you think about a guy like Kazmaier, you know, he started when it really started. And I mean, this is a guy who was so good, they literally kept him from competing because he was just too good. You know, there was one of the titles he has. The last event, he didn't have to compete; he already won. So in the middle of it, they changed the rules and quadrupled the points for the last event. So the guy that was in second and third could actually catch him. So he had to compete. Dang. That's how good this man was. He was so far ahead of his time. It was ridiculous. Guys like that, you know, and some of these guys that are coming up right now, last year's World's Strongest Man winner, when they really first, him and his brother really first started coming out, man, it was just, you could see it, you know. Mm-hmm. He was very timid. He has autism, very timid. You can tell he really couldn't seem to break out of his shell. But the guy's a monster, you know, 6'8", another, you know, 400-pound, just giant dude. And now that he is out, this kid is, man, he's unstoppable. He's quick.
Yeah, I remember his
athletic.
The disability. They're all talking about his disability and how awesome that was. And I'm like, I saw him and I'm, dude, he's a monster.
He is. And his brother's phenomenal too. I honestly think his brother would be a lot further in his career, but he was so concerned with getting his younger brother out of his shell and really going. He just kind of put his own stuff on hold, you know?
So with when you look at guys like that and that big, do they do any type of drug testing for strongmen?
They don't.
They don't. Okay. No. I just used to watch World Strongman, but it's been so long, dude. When it makes me sad that it's not as, like, you'll see like replays, like 30-minute tidbits on ESPN and stuff like that, and I'm like, I wish they would just show the whole thing.
They used to play them on ESPN.
Yeah.
And then so what happened there was, whenever the baseball deal got crazy around the Mark McGwire days and all that stuff about the steroids, that's when things like bodybuilding and strongman got taken off ESPN.
So Marvin, if you don't follow Bearded Dragon, he has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of reviews for beard products and stuff like that. And Marvin has lost in the past year over 100 pounds.
Oh, wow. Good for you, dude.
Yeah, dude. He looks amazing. But he always has his shirt off. Now, they're like, put your freaking shirt on.
Hey, you know what, man? When you work that hard and you know,
I'm just
you get down to it. I mean, more power to you, brother. I say rock it.
Yeah. So
keep it on when we're around.
Yeah. But he'll just wear overalls and then just cover everything. And so like his the straps will cover his nips and that's about it.
I love it.
But yeah, so what kind of supplements would you first of all, what supplements do you take, and then what supplements do you recommend for someone getting into it? I take quite a bit.
You
should be, man.
I take quite a bit, but in the grand scheme of things, I guess I really don't. I take your obvious stuff, the protein powder, you know, which is kind of just what I use for breakfast because it's quick. I can just grab that and protein shake and, you know, a couple of bananas and stuff, and I don't have to worry about anything else after that. Unless somebody brings tacos to work, and then I'm in trouble. But that happens a lot. Amino acids. I'm a big fan of particular EAAs. It's just one of those things that I think around training, you're silly not to take them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you train. Let's just say we're training biceps. When you're training biceps, taco, exactly. How can you say no to tacos? But let's say you're training biceps. When you're training biceps, essentially upwards of 60% of the blood rushes to whatever muscle you have pumped.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have free-form amino acids going in, they don't have to go through that digestive system or anything. They're straight to the bloodstream. it's like basically shoving 60 grams of protein right there. You know, it's like IV. You know what I mean? Why not? Why not? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, no supplement. I find it waste. Just my
and you know what, Chad, I'm 100%. I'm all for
natural.
how you want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a big. I don't advocate them. I don't push them. I'll never tell somebody you should do this. You should do that. If I get asked the question, I'll tell you what I take and why I take it.
Yeah.
But I'm just not that guy. You know, I'll tell you what brands I think are great. I use 2 different ones. Both of them I'm an affiliate for. That's the only reason that I am an affiliate, because I do like the product. You know, outside of that, it's pretty much like creatine, of course, glutamine. Creatine is one of those things I think that doesn't get enough credit because nobody uses it right. You know, they'll take it when they work out or 2-3 days a week.
Yeah.
Creatine is something you have to take every day, you know, and you definitely got to be over 5 grams. And if you're not, you're never going to see the benefit of it. You're just literally handing your money out for no reason. So outside of that, it's mostly health stuff.
That's what I say about any type of supplement. Something like just he was saying, it's a waste of money for him. His diet might be perfect, or
and that's true too. So you know, and that's what I say, because I'll talk about BCAAs a lot, and you know, people are like, "Oh, you don't really need them," and no, you don't. You're absolutely right. If your diet is on point, you don't need to take them. But let's be realistic. How many people's diet are on point? I'll wait.
Mine's not.
Neither is mine. You know,
I'm sitting here drinking a Monster. It's not healthy for you.
I got me a cup of coffee right here. So, you know, it's just one of those things. But outside of that, everything else is pretty much just health supplements. You know, Tudka, Liverwell, vitamin C, multivitamin. But that's pretty much as far as the supplements that most people would consider supplements. That's probably the main stuff that I take.
All right, so now we say you have Marvin, who's working out 5 days a week. He's doing a lot more cardio. Now, Marvin, I'm not saying this is what you do. I'm just hypothetically, he lost 100 pounds in a year. He's doing, to me, a lot of cardio, but maybe he's not. Eating healthy, more cardio. So what would you suggest for someone who wants to transition from more of a cardio lean look and try to get a little bit bigger, a little bit more mass, and get stronger?
Definitely. I don't. The common misconception with cardio is if you do cardio, you can't get big, and that's not the case. The deal with it is if you want to put size on, especially if you want to put clean mass on, you got to start up in your calories, but you can't get crazy. So let's just say a guy like Marvin, I don't know how big he is, but let's just say he's 200 pounds and he wants to put on 20 pounds. Number one, don't expect to put on 20 pounds, you know, in 2 or 3 months. And if you do, 3 pounds of it might be good weight. Yeah. You know, you have to understand, guys with the greatest genetics on the planet who are drug free might put on 5 to 7 pounds in a year. So, you know, you got to take it into consideration. How many calories are you eating right now? Well, if you're maintaining 200 pounds at, you know, 2,100 calories, don't just jump up to 3,000 calories because you're probably going to spill over, and that's the last thing you want. You don't want to get fat. You know what I mean? So
is that called reverse dieting? Is that what you're talking about?
It's not. I don't really look at. Man, it's so weird. I don't really look at it as dieting. Honestly, you know, I mean, your dieting is that's usually why people fail. Because they're calling it dieting, you know. When I say look at your diet, it's essentially just look at what you're eating. You know, if you wanted to put weight on, you have to have a surplus of calories. The difference is you can't be in such a great surplus that you have a spillover. Now, if you're active enough, let's see what is he saying.
That's a lot of calories. That's a ton of calories.
That is. Now look at a guy like Chad though. Chad is crazy active. You know what I mean?
Chad is a sexy beast.
dude like, is awesome. He's a sculpture, right? But here's the thing about what he does versus what I do. If I eat 7,000 calories, I'm going to probably be 340 pounds, and it's not going to look good, you know. But I'm not I'm not like Chad. I don't do the high intensity, not hit stuff, but because I don't think that's what he does. But I
Well,
know
he
he
said
is.
in the chat previously that since January, and this is his diet, since January, he's lost 20 pounds. And so
Yeah,
obviously the
and that's
7,200.
that's what I'm saying. Like calories in versus calories out. You
Mhm.
know, if you're just looking at a sedentary person and they maintain whatever, all 1,500 calories, then they get active. Obviously, they're going to lose weight if they stay at 1,500 calories. If they're maintaining, let's say Chad's 200 pounds, he's losing weight at 7,000 calories. That means he's burning more than 7,000 calories.
Which is a lot.
It's not some crazy scientific thing. It's calories in versus calories out. No matter how you look at it, no matter what your macros are, it's calories in. Now, I'm not saying that macros don't matter, because if you're eating 7,000 calories of trash versus 7,000 calories of good food, obviously the outcome is going to be a lot different, right?
Yeah.
But as far as body weight goes, calories in versus calories out, there's no other explanation behind it.
All right, random question from E. Do people get intimidated with your size, and on top of that, with your beard?
I don't know if they really get intimidated. I think people see me differently a little bit. Maybe there might be a bit of a common misconception of what kind of person I am when someone looks at me. But you know what? The most common misconception is, honestly, that I'm taller.
Yeah, I can see that.
Everybody thinks I'm tall. Even people who are standing in front of me,
Uh-huh.
they think I'm taller. And I don't know if it's just because of my size or what. Maybe it's just my presence, but people always think I'm taller. They meet me and realize I'm 4'2", and they're like, "Whoa."
Vinny, you ever watch Greg Doucette? How do I pronounce his last name?
Doucette.
Doucette. Okay. Thoughts on his regimen, if worded?
I don't really know much about what he does. I watched a few of his videos where he was, I think it was maybe like a natty or not type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really remember. It was along those lines though, and I watched it mostly because of the person he was talking about. I'm nothing against Greg Doucette. I'm sure the dude's in great shape, and he's been a bodybuilder for a long time. I just don't know a lot about him or what he does. His voice, he sounds like Gilbert Godfrey.
Oh,
So watching his videos, I just can't handle it.
Just think of the Affleck guy. So Nick actually does have a question that, Vinny, what would be an example of a dinner that you eat most of the time?
Dinner's kind of a weird one because I eat whatever my wife makes. So like last night, it was chicken enchiladas and rice.
There you go.
I eat a lot of it. That's my biggest meal is dinner. So every Wednesdays is pot roast and mashed potatoes.
Dorian Yates or Jay Cutler? Those are good.
Man,
I've never met Dorian Yates, but I met Jay Cutler, and you two are about the same size.
Who two?
Height-wise.
Oh yeah, we're not too far off.
Wow.
I was like Jay Cutler back in his battles with Ronnie.
Dude, he was freaking huge.
So I don't think that he has the best physique of all time.
Mm-mm.
But he probably does have my favorite. The year of the quad stomp, I cannot remember for the life of me what year that was. But everybody knows what the quad stomp is.
Yeah, that was
with everybody who knows anything
Coleman,
about bodybuilding, right? I should say. Yeah. Yeah, and he dropped that quad stomp. That is my favorite physique of all time, hands down. And I was actually for a long time was a really big Jay Cutler fan. But again, I don't think he's got the best physique. In fact, I think Phil has a better physique than he does. I think Dorian was a better physique, honestly. Earlier Dorian, the later Dorian, I think he got a little too thick in the waist. But if I was going to say the greatest physique of all time, it probably wouldn't be anybody in the last 30 some years. So
no, I prefer old school. So now it would be considered physique,
Yeah.
in men, classic
Yeah.
look where it's like where they have the vacuum posing, where a lot like Arnold was. Because I'm like, I don't know, I like that. Even though he wasn't natural, I enjoyed that look.
It was more aesthetically pleasing. Like
Yeah,
everybody
it
wants to
wasn't
see
just
these big
mass.
mass monsters, but if you look at them, I mean, they have these really huge waistlines, and I mean, this is bodybuilding. This is supposed to be aesthetic. You're not a power lifter. You're not a strong man. It doesn't matter in those types of deals. This is strictly based on your physique. So it should be aesthetically pleasing. And the
Yeah.
big blocky waist, I mean, that just doesn't look as good in my opinion.
No, the HGH has gotten out of hand.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Here you go. I don't know why. I think he was 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Greatest physique of all time, Lee Priest.
oh, shut up! You're right. His waist was tiny.
I said 30 years, but I think he was 90s, if I'm not mistaken. He was like maybe early and mid 90s.
Yeah, he does a lot of the announcing now, doesn't he?
He doesn't really have anything to do with IFBB. He was booted for whatever, but he does a lot of his own, like commentary stuff on bodybuilders.
All right, so now we have a bunch of questions. I didn't write down who they're from, but I do know the first one comes from your friend Amanda, the Taco Queen. So she asked on IG, "What is your favorite horror movie of all time?"
Halloween, hands down.
Hands down.
Michael Myers, 1978. You can't beat it.
So do you ever play Call of Duty?
I do not.
So there was a Call of Duty with a Halloween map, and that had the Halloween song. It was like by far one of my most favorite maps ever.
But you know what? There's probably
that song is like you hear it, you know exactly, you go right to it.
Yep. And there's probably 15 of them by now with the remakes and the new ones. And other than Season of the Witch, I can watch all of them. I like them all.
Other than Season of the Witch, I haven't seen that one.
He's not even in it. Yeah, it's the third one, by the way.
Favorite place to get a burger. Now this gentleman is from Texas, where you're at.
Oh, okay. So local joint called Stumps.
Ooh.
It's an 8-ounce burger with 8 ounces of sirloin chopped on top of it. A couple different kinds of cheese.
Dude, that sounds amazing.
Next level, dude. Absolutely incredible.
If you had to choose one workout for the rest of your life, what would that be? What would that one be, and why?
Deadlift, hands down. Multiple reasons. One, I think that the deadlift is the ultimate test of power. It is the most significant static movement I think that there is. And two, as far as from a physical standpoint, you're literally tested from about your knees to your shoulders, between the actual pull from the floor, going through the entire movement, staying solid in your core, keeping your back tight, locking out with your traps and stuff at the top end. I don't think there's a more significant move as far as full body incorporating both muscle mass building potential and thickness, as well as overall strength.
What do you feel about power clean or the snatch?
More of an Olympic type deal, but definitely ridiculous movement in my opinion. Okay. My problem with those, like the snatch in particular, that's one of those ones kind of like the yoke. I think if you're wrong in the way you do that, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, you're messed up. I get that.
And I mean, you can make the same argument for a deadlift. But
100%.
I think the potential is there with whatever you're lifting, whatever movement you're doing. But stuff like a snatch is in my opinion, kind of like a yoke. I think you're maximizing risk for not so much reward.
Okay. What about now? I'm sorry, just because I'm thinking, a deadlift's 100%, but incorporate it so like a power clean to a catch to a shoulder press, like a jump press or something like that. I'm just thinking like as the older you get, that's kind of where reaching for a cup or something like that. That's kind of like you're trying to incorporate something that would And bending over and all that kind of stuff and a full body workout, dude, deadlifts are hands down.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I mean, if you're looking at it from a standpoint like that, where you're talking about when you're getting older, I mean, I highly doubt that I've got more than a few more, maybe 4 or 5, maybe a little bit more years in there where I'm going to really try to push for that goal. But I mean, eventually you have to.
I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you have to get to a point though where you shift gears, right? And, you know, then you start doing stuff that's more, I guess, like everyday functional.
All right, Cindy has a question, and then I'll go back to the. Oh, so does someone else had a question. I'll scroll up. What motivates you to get to the gym in time when you're just not feeling it?
I know what I want to do. I know what I want to get to. It's kind of one of those deals. So, I mean, if Joe Rogan, I think, is the one that said this, and it's like the most perfect thing I've ever heard. He said, if I only worked out when I wanted to, when I felt great, I'd be
That was Joe Rogan.
Yeah. You know, I'd be a fat SOB, you know.
Yeah.
For me, that is such a true statement because when I go in and I'm going to be deadlifting and stuff, I'm pumped for it, you know. When I have to do an upper day, which is twice a week, man, I do it because I mean, I know it's accessory, it's that I've got to do it, but I don't want to. You know, something like a bicep curl to me, I'm like, who cares about a bicep? It's not like I don't care if my biceps are big. I just want to pick up heavy stuff, man. So yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. I know where I want to go with the end game, and that's really what keeps me going.
Great answer. Morning or evening workouts? What do you prefer?
Evening, 100% evening. I like working out after I've eaten a few times.
You guys are killing me with all these questions. Everyone is just loving you, man.
Fire away, man. Come on.
No, I just have all these other questions. I'm like, maybe we might not get to them then. Chris says, you ready to admit that I outworked you in the gym? Catch that, Vinny P. Love you tons, brother.
I mean, he did make me look like a punk, but it's okay. I'll get you one day.
You have to keep going. Some days you just go through the motions, but keep it in routine is key. 20 years and counting for me. Dude, that's awesome. Okay, this
20 years is a long time. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's fit. You can tell. No joke, though. You and Brian need to get together and do some sort of collaboration on his channel and play the guitar, play the drums, play the banjo, whatever you got to do. But you guys need to do it. He does it Fridays.
I think he was maybe on Ken's show at some point. I think he was playing a song. And I kind of jokingly said it, but I really did mean it when I said it. Like, one day I'm going to reach out to that guy and we're going to do a song.
You really should. It would be fun.
That dude's talented.
Yeah, you could be what's the guy who played Dwight Schrute on Office, the naked drummer, that one movie? You could be the naked drummer.
Oh man.
Another question on IG. What motivated you in the beginning?
I was heavy. I was really heavy. Never. So I can't say actually I've never worked out. You're old enough to remember this. I'm sure a lot of the people in here are old enough to remember this too. But you remember back probably 20 years ago, there was a Chuck Norris infomercial for the Total Gym.
Oh, I do remember.
Okay. So, my mom, right? My mom is one of those people, like, if you go in her house, you'll probably see 10 things that are as seen on TV. She's just one of them people, you know? She can't help herself. I was a teenager, and she had one, and I was, like I said, I was always a big kid. And, man, I was just tired of being big. So I just started working out on that thing. It's no weights, it's just body weight. But I lost a whole bunch of weight. I mean, I was down to like 150 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Got married, had my first child, and I was right at 300 pounds. But like I said, I wasn't working out, I wasn't doing nothing. I had a 42-inch waist. You know, it was bad. And like I said, my brother actually convinced me to go to the gym because I was just too out of shape, way too out of shape. And to me, the gym was kind of like, you know, it's kind of like a D-bag thing. You know, like I didn't want any part of that. But it wasn't what I thought it was. I really thought it was a someplace you went if you wanted to be like the bro,
Yeah. Russ
Not like that
says,
at all.
where does your appreciation of your truck come from? Do you do the work on it yourself?
Well, I've always worked on vehicles since I was a little kid. My older brother was a mechanic, and so I've always been interested in it. But I would say the biggest appreciation is looking at the garbage that's on the road today. There's just nothing like a classic vehicle, nothing. And I'll tell you right now, it is a pain in the butt. Something is always wrong. Something is always wrong. There's always a this or a that. One way or another, you be just cruising along and start hearing some weird noise, and you go to start it and let it get warmed up, and it's overheating or this, that, and the third. But man, there's just nothing like driving an old vehicle. Nothing.
I have a 90 F-250, and right now the ignition doesn't work. So what I had to do is pop out where the battery connects to the starter or ignition, and then I had to wire him. So I hit the nozzle with the wire, and I had just cut some wire up, and then I hit where the battery is, and then I hit where the starter is and start it up. So I have to pop the trunk every time I do it, just hit the wire. And I get offered all the time, hey, how much for that truck? How much for the truck? I'm like, I'm not giving it to you, man. It's mine. It's my baby.
Yeah, I got a 2000 F-250. That's the ridiculously big one.
Yeah, that's so cool though. So Marvin says, I haven't been 150 pounds since high school.
Well, and yeah, you know what I mean? That was me. I was always, like I said, I was always a bigger kid. I was always heavy set, from the time I was probably 7 or 8 years old. And it just, I don't know. Like I said, I got tired of it.
I've always been big. I wrestled 135 ninth grade. Sophomore year, wrestled 160, junior 189.
Right on.
And then my spleen swelled up my senior year and I couldn't wrestle.
You're a naturally big dude though. I mean, you have anybody who starts getting abs at 290, I mean that's ridiculous, dude.
It's true. What can I say? Like my skinny and I look anorexic around 240, 250.
That's crazy.
I know, but it's true. All right, high comment. All right, so now this is what happened last time. We just got talking. We went over the time limit, so I apologize.
It's all good.
But would you rather? So these are all weightlifting, weights, working out related. So everyone, please feel free. If you have any more questions for Vinny, please ask. And then also answer these would you rathers also. My heaviest would be around 260. I'm down to 165. And Maya went back to 220 and now 175. Dude, that's awesome, Ellie.
That is awesome. That's very
100
awesome.
Pounds. She's lost 100 pounds. That's amazing.
That's fantastic. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight to lose.
Oh, it's a ton. You should see Marvin. Literally, look at Marvin's old videos and look at him now. It's like night and day. Ellie, I didn't know her when she was that big. I just know her now, and she looks great now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, first question: would you rather lose all your muscle and be skinny, or still have your muscle and be fat?
Have my muscle and be fat.
Have your muscle and be fat?
I'm more interested in being strong, so I know I'll be a lot stronger with my muscle and fat than I would if I lost it all when I was skinny.
See, and I'm to the point where I'm like, I don't know.
I'm more interested in strength. I really am. I want to be the guy that can lift the Buick. I don't really care if I look like I can.
Right. Funny story. And this is a little bragging. This is a little.
Come on.
When my neighbors had to move their piano and they asked like 6 of us to come over, I had one side and 5 of them had the other side.
I believe it.
I believe it. That's right.
Heck yeah.
Would you rather forever exercise drenched in someone else's body sweat or exercise while smelling someone else's protein farts? Which are true?
Body sweat.
Really?
Oh man, I can't handle smells. I can't do it. I'd be puking.
Oh really? You can't handle smells at all?
Like I do have the typical dad moments, where I'm like, whoa, this one's too bad. Mom's gonna handle it. For the most part, I can handle my own kids, but someone else, nope. And I've always been like that. I literally, when I was younger, my older sister's boyfriend had me over his shoulder and he farted and I threw up. Yeah.
It's been a brutal.
Yeah, man. I can't do smells. I cannot do it. I would get nothing done if that was the case.
See, and I can handle the smells. To me, just laying in another man's sweat, or like
Yeah,
after
you know what? I sweat so much.
Dude,
I sweat so much. It's whatever at that point.
You threw up.
As long as it's not smelly, dude, I'm all right.
Oh, good times. Would you rather do burpee exercises for 2 hours straight or do a heavy set of legs while having raging diarrhea? I saw that. I'm like, I have to ask.
Wow. Can I wear a diaper? Because I think burpees for 2 hours might kill me.
Dude,
the diarrhea,
right?
I think I can handle. I don't want to have to clean it up though. So if I can't wear a diaper, then I guess I'm gonna have to die.
See, he gets it. Dave gets it because they are real.
They are. They are bad.
Are real.
They are bad.
Man, yeah. Just made me laugh. Would you rather be forced to exercise every day in used, sweaty, stale gym clothes, or be forced to work out in a gym where everyone but you is in the way taking selfies?
I'm gonna have to push people out of the way that are taking selfies.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's the one thing that drives me nuts.
No, I don't think I can handle the because that's gonna stink.
Oh, it's true. And you
That's gonna smell, dude.
See, I really do get bothered by men and women walking past and just lifting their shirt to check out their abs and stuff.
Oh yeah,
dude, just do that on your own time, man. Just go do your job and get out of here.
That's why I have my own gym, man.
I know. I'm jealous.
I don't have to deal with anybody's stuff,
How much is that? How much time did it take to accumulate what you have?
Probably about a year and a half.
Yeah, because you have some cool stuff.
Yeah, about a year and a half or so. I mean, and I'm still adding. I just recently added that frame. That we built at work. So,
Marvin, I crop dust Walmart every weekend.
Oh man.
You know what the worst, and I'm not going to say, and I'm not, this is the worst, is when you walk into a elevator that smells like farts, and it's just you, and then someone else walks in and you're like, dude, it wasn't me.
Yep.
I hate it.
Yep.
But yeah, that's cool. What's your favorite what's your favorite piece of equipment?
Ooh. My favorite would probably be the log. Most functional, obviously, the rack.
Yeah, dude, the rack's probably the most expensive too.
It really wasn't that bad.
Did you pay someone to make it, or did you buy it pre-made?
No, I bought it like that. I'm gonna tell you what. Certain stuff, I would say, find your premium stuff. Like my bumper plates. I use the Rogue plates. They're phenomenal. I don't think I would ever buy something different. They're very expensive, but worth it. Stuff like the rack, man, that rack was probably, because I've got the 2 deep. So you can buy just one.
Yeah.
You can buy a smaller extension, or you can buy a full-on extension. I went with the full-on extension so I can keep the plate load at the backside for when I'm loading bags or stones.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're good.
Everyone and their dog is all talking about how they crop dust everyone. And Ellie, just coming out of Ellie, that's hilarious.
Oh man, y'all be killing me.
But what were you saying? I'm sorry.
I mean, it's a site called Titan Fitness. Man, their stuff is it's so reasonably priced and free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got everything now. Granted, since the whole COVID thing and whatnot, I don't even know if I can say that on here or whatever, but they have a lot of stuff that's back ordered or whatever. That's still a big thing, but they're, like I said, they pretty much have everything. And that rack, I think, have maybe $1,300.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't expensive.
My they're on this kick of crop dusting everyone. I don't know if you can read it. I take great pleasure in going to my boss house just so I can drop it like it's hot.
Jesus.
Before we ask Andrew's question, and then get back to the would you rather's, are they the ones, because my neighbor has it and it was pretty expensive. He bought a nice equipment where he can go super heavy without a trainer or a spotter because it has little wires on the bar. And then if he lets go of it, it just stops.
I don't know what
he
that
could be lifting and then just let go and it'll just rack itself. And I'm like, dude, that's pretty cool.
No, I have no idea what that is. But I mean, so let's just say you have a regular rack. Like I just have a regular square tube, old school rack.
Uh-huh.
But if you've ever noticed on my videos, if I'm squatting, I've got long bars that come out, and if I go down, that bar is going to stop before it ever comes down on top of me.
Yeah.
The same thing if I'm benching or whatever. Not that I really bench often, but especially now with the shoulder. But or if I'm doing like a really heavy overhead press and I'm doing it with a barbell, I might start and use the pins. Not necessarily a pin press off the pins, but I'll set them lower. So if I got to come down, I can come down and drop it to the pins versus having to drop it to the floor or run the risk of going behind me.
I like that. That's actually really smart.
Yeah, there's a ton of ways to make sure you can stay borderline safe, without having a spot.
Yeah. So Andrew wants to know, in your experience, are personal trainers a good investment?
That's a loaded question. So, yes and no. If you can find one that is legit, and by legit, I don't mean some piece of paper that he got from taking a 1-hour online course that says he's now a certified personal trainer. I mean someone who's not going to consistently take your money and run you through the same crap over and over again that doesn't work, or run you through some fancy movement that he found on Instagram or something like that literally doesn't work, or that a very simple movement would be twice as effective. It just doesn't look as cool or sound as cool. You have to be careful with personal trainers. You really do. If you find a good one, absolutely worth the money, because if for nothing else, the accountability alone. And that's why I actually started with a coach. I needed someone for that accountability. I needed someone who was going to say, hey, I didn't get your workout log yesterday. What did you do? Why didn't you? So on and so forth. It's really one of those things. If you find a bad one, it can leave a really sour taste in your mouth for a long time. So just know what you're getting into. Make sure you ask a million questions. I mean, if you do that and you find somebody who's worth it, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's a reason why, I always talk about these guys who are professionals. They know what they're doing, but yet they still have a trainer. And so, like you said, if you have a really good coach that can help you, it's worth the investment. 100%. But if you have just a Joe Schmo from, Gold's Gym that just graduated from NASA or NASA, and they just like, yeah, you balance on a ball while you do this. You're like, dude, shut up. Like, yeah. I just don't think that's worth it.
For real,
All right. Last, would you rather? Would you rather belong to a gym where no one ever clears the racks, or belong to a gym where everyone corrects your form and gives you advice? Right? Because we've lived both, and that's why I say that.
Yeah. I would probably have to go with the racks.
Me too.
I'd probably have to go with the racks. Yeah, it would be fun at first, to listen to some of the wonderful things people say, but it would get really annoying and hard to work out. I'd rather have to get the extra time of clearing somebody else's crap out of my way first.
Yeah. So do you get people when you leave your gym and go to another gym, do you get a lot of people who come to you and ask you questions? Not give you advice or form or anything like that, but come and ask you questions?
It's been a while, but not too much. When I was training at a local gym, it was more real basic. It was always real basic stuff, like how long I had been training or stuff like that. I never really had a whole lot of questions as far as like form questions or what I thought would be for this or that. The only time I've ever really experienced stuff like that was more in like a box gym setting, and I haven't been in one of those in years.
No, what's sad is they're getting rid of all of them. The last one I went to was called Fat Albert's. It was old school Lou Ferrigno style gym where it's dark, it's a dungeon. You just go work your crap and then leave. There's no one there. They give you a code, you enter, and they shut that down because obviously, that just isn't making it anymore. But I do know that when you go to the gym, people, I have like high school kids every now and come up to me, like, dude, how'd you get so big? I'm like, dude, how'd you get so small? I'm like, dude, just got to be patient.
I'll
if it's
tell
in
you
your
what,
genetics.
the most common question I've ever been asked from the day I started lifting and got any actual size: how much do you bench? I hate that question with a passion. With a passion, I hate that question. But that is the most common question I've ever been asked.
Because that's what they learn in high school.
I guess. I didn't go, so I don't know.
No, yeah, in football. So football, you have your big threes: deadlift, your bench press, and your squat. Because because you're just pushing all the linemen, you're doing all that, squats with your legs, power lift, and that's just really what's big. And then everyone else is just like, dude, it becomes like a manly thing to be able to push a lot.
And well, what's funny is, of the three, functionally speaking, bench is the least functional. Strength-wise, it's amazing.
Vinny, how much do you bench?
Right, come on, Vato.
Perfect timing. Oh, he got me on that one. That was funny.
Everybody got jokes.
Yeah, Brett goes, you beat me to the punch. Hey Martin, that's the biggest factor for me when it comes to working out. So yeah, I had this up there. So that's what I'm in struggle with the most with weight loss. The fitness right now is accountability and having someone to keep me accountable.
And to that though, accountability works both ways. So if you have somebody, let's just say, even if it's not a coach, right? Let's just say it's an accountability partner. If for some reason, because everybody has a life. So if for some reason it's been 2 days and that person hasn't asked you, hey, how are you doing? Is your food on point? Is your workout on point? You need to reach out, especially if you're the one that's going through whatever journey it is. Keep that going, because if you rely on somebody and they end up in life, it's real easy to well, they're not checking in, I could maybe slack off a little bit or whatever else. So use it both ways. Don't just wait for someone to keep you accountable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great insight, because that's kind of what happened to me. Is I got my surgery. I stopped using my coach because I don't use a coach for weightlifting, which maybe I should after our discussion, all that. But I use it more for food prep. How many calories should I be doing? This is what I've been doing for working out. So then this is what I probably should be eating. And because when I did bodybuilding, I went on stage around 255, and within a month I was over 300, and I had to get on blood pressure medication, all that kind of stuff. And so that's why I talked about the reverse dieting. Like, is that considered reverse dieting, what you're talking about? Because you got to be smart, and I wasn't smart, and so I think it's wise to have someone.
Well, you know what I mean, I think anybody who does this, I think, has probably gone through it. I mean, last year before the shoulder, I was really pushing to hit around 285, and I wasn't doing it the way I should have done it. I was definitely putting on way more bad weight than good, and I was just so obsessed with the whole concept of mass moving mass. I didn't care what kind of mass it was that was going to be moving the mass, and that's a bad way to be. So
just look at Ron Nicole, man. That guy was big, and
he was huge. He's probably one of the most genetically gifted people that ever walked the planet, as far as size goes.
Well, that's what I was like. I was telling a couple of people, they're like, dude, they're just on steroids. I'm like, no, they're genetic freaks before.
And that's, everybody has that misconception when they talk steroids. They think, oh, I can just stick myself and I'm going to be huge. And
no, you'll gain maybe 5 pounds. That's about it.
It doesn't work that way. Yeah, they are the 1%. It works that way with everything. If you look at like you asked me, have I always been naturally strong? Have I always been a strong guy? Yes. Not everybody can say that. It's the same thing when you look at the size game. You know, not everybody is a naturally big person. Some are, some aren't. Same thing with drugs. Some people are hyper responders, some aren't. You know, it's just, it's all genetics.
So Marvin asked, Vinny, what is your least favorite workout and body part to work out?
Biceps, hands down.
Yeah.
Hate them. Absolutely hate them.
You know what I really enjoy? And I think it's one that is underused, or not underused. It's used almost in every upper body lift, but a lot of people don't work on it because it's not sexy, is your triceps. Because I feel like,
of the arm.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like any type of push or pull or anything like that, your triceps are involved. And I'm like, dude, you should be working your triceps.
Biceps are the show, triceps are the go.
Mm-hmm. And so, dude, some of the
Which
coolest
is why I
things.
hate biceps.
Yeah.
Just I think they're pointless. You know what I mean? I'll
Some of
crush
the
triceps.
hardest workouts I've ever done was just ended with, you know, you're doing all your upper body workout and then you end with dips and just full body weight or add a 25 or 45 pound plate. And you're just
dips
doing
are brutal.
Dude, man, they destroy me. But another question is, Jason asked, hey, what's Vinny's take on using resistant bands?
I use them all the time. Different for different reasons. Currently, I use them a lot because of the shoulder. Before the shoulder, or even nothing to do with the shoulder, I like to use them for like deadlifts. A lot of old school, you'll use chains and stuff. Gets heavier at the top. Resistance bands do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Band across the bar, you know, it might be, say, 20 pounds at the bottom, but when you come up at the top of the lift, now you're adding 100 pounds, you know, throughout the lift. So I think resistance bands are great, especially if you do. Say it again.
I didn't mean to interrupt. It just helps you when, you know, you always come to that one point in any type of lift where you're squatting and you're just like almost to that point. Those resistant bands help you so that when you're not doing it and say you're going heavy, it helps you get over that little
Yep.
Minor issue that you're having. It just really helps you get to that get you.
Yep. I mean, you can use them a lot of different ways. A lot of different ways like that. Or and I don't know how much research there is on this, but I know a lot of the stuff that I've encountered anyways when it comes to things like resistance band training. It's a lot more tendon driven than, say, a barbell movement or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing that you can isolate working tendons, right? But if you were doing resistance bands, let's just say when you're doing a bicep curl, we're just going to use curls for an example, but let's say you're doing a bicep curl with a barbell and you're activating, 90% muscle, 10% tendon, versus a resistance band where you might be at 70-30, and you let that tendon catch up to the muscle itself. And again, this is not anything that I can sit here and claim as a thing. It's just stuff that I've read before. And if anybody's ever had any issues with tendons, it sucks. So it's always helped me work through it. So I can't help myself.
Tendonitis sucks.
It does. It does.
Mm-hmm. When I was working out and I was playing indoor football, arena football, it was like a couple years ago. Man, I started getting tendonitis because I would always whack guys on the shoulder, on the helmets and stuff, because I played defensive end, and it started wearing on me, man. My right bicep was killing me.
Yeah.
Andrew, tracking macros is something I'm not looking forward to, but if I don't, I'll greatly be under my macros.
Well, like I said earlier, I'm not a big macro guy. I mean, it does, obviously it depends on what you're doing, right? I don't know what your goals are and such, but if you're I don't know, if you're trying to just say you're trying to put a little weight on or something.
I think he'd try to be put on weight. He's pretty
so I mean, when you're talking about weight, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing is your calorie intake. And again, like I said, obviously the cleaner the macros are, obviously the better the weight you're going to put on, right? So I'm not saying that they don't matter, but in the grand scheme of things, I would say focus on calories before macros. And if you look at some of the stuff out there, like I use MyFitnessPal, free. the free version. You don't have to pay for it. Input your food. You can look at your macros at the end of the day and adjust it really easily. You know, like let's say you want to take in 2,000 calories a day. That's your where you need to be, I guess, for a slow, good, healthy weight gain. You can look at the end of the day and see, oh, maybe I need to take out, you know, whatever meal that I'm exceeding too many carbs, or so on and so forth, or I need to add more protein to this meal and take out some of the fats, or, you know, it just makes it easy because it breaks it down every day.
So what do you, sorry, dude, we're way over time. I hope this is okay. I don't, you said you had some other things to do. So do we need to cut? Do we need to cut off?
No, you're good.
So what do you feel about pre-workout? Because there's a lot of us that use pre-workouts. For me, I actually use Aminos Plus Energy, but that's what I use. You don't like it. Why so?
I don't like it. I've never needed it. And when I did way back in the day, first started working out, I started taking it, and you know, it's just, most of them are just a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of caffeine and sugar. Then you can do like the no stim stuff. You know, if you're trying to get like a nitric oxide boost or something, you know, and increase your pump or stuff like that. But I don't train hypertrophy, so that pump is not something that I chase. In fact, the pump does the exact opposite for me in strength training. You know?
That's why you have long wait periods between sets.
Right. Right. So for me, something like that is it's just not my thing, especially the stim ones. All the caffeine does nothing for me, and the sugar just makes my stomach hurt. So around training, I'll kill it any other time.
Yeah, no, that's why I asked, because everyone has their different takes. I know that certain pre-workouts really do mess my stomach up, and I won't name any brands, but there's one brand that I'm like, if I take it, I'm in the restroom right after. Just how it is. It sucks, but so I that's why I say I tend not to go over crazy with the pre-workouts. I like on the Aminos Plus Energy. I've always have when it came out. I went to Olympia the year those came out, and I really liked them when they were testing them and let all of us try them. And yeah,
I do drink an Intra though.
Scivation.
It's a carb drink. Say it again.
Do you use Scivation? Who do you use?
I don't. I use I don't even know. I can't remember what it's called. Okay. It's one of the F&X brand products. They got weird names. It's called like Reburst or something like that.
No, they all do. That's what it says. Scivation.
But it's literally just a carb drink with essential amino acids. I mean, that's all.
Yes, I met Lane Norton, if you know who he is, at Scivation booth one year at Olympia. He's a PhD who believes in amino acids.
Okay.
So definitely look him up. You would really, really like him. On
Definitely.
Someone else knows him in this chat. I think so, but he's either on Instagram or Facebook. I want to say, Instagram. He might be a little bit more active. I don't know.
That's why I have to do it anyway. I don't have Facebook, so.
But anyway, I truly, truly appreciate you coming on, man. It's been.
Man, I appreciate you having me. Like I said, I told you before, man. You're one of my favorite people on the planet. So
you're mine too. You're the first number 2 on here, and I enjoy working there. Yeah. You're one of my first too, right?
Well. Oh man, I would have worn my good shirt if I'd have known
that. You should have been Marvin and just wore the overalls and just cover the nips. That's all you should have done. So number 3,
I got my Sunday shirt on.
But I appreciate you, everyone in chat. Appreciate you guys coming. Do you have anything to say to the chat or anyone else?
Yeah, I apologize if there was a bunch of stuff going on in the chat. I can't see it unless you put it up. So.
No, I pretty much a lot of the stuff except the hey, how you doing type of stuff.
No, I mean honestly, just you know, honestly, anybody who's in here, man, I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out and all the questions and stuff. It was super cool, man. Tyson, you know, as always, I appreciate you just having me and hell, even just chatting with me. So
yeah, dude, I really wish you could go to Jackson Hole. I think that'd be so much fun for you to come and go whitewater rafting with us and all that. I know it takes time and money, but that'd been fun.
Don't worry, we're gonna make it happen one day. Eventually, I'm gonna get you in this gym.
Yeah. Marvin says next video I'm going to be naked.
Let me know. I won't be there. No.
Dave, appreciate you coming. Amanda, appreciate you guys coming. Everyone just loves you, man. So I appreciate you. Cindy's just said good night, y'all. Have a great week. Vinny is the man. Yes, he is. So, all right. I appreciate you, man. And we'll talk to you guys soon. See you on Wednesday.